Hello, here I am again, trying my second video in 2 days. But I wanted to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. Again, involved with my vocation, and my main purpose in making those videos is to promote vocations. I am, after all, director of vocation promotion for the Christian Brothers of the Midwest. But this is more of a story today, a story about me, a story about a guy who had to figure out what he really wants in life. And there are many of us like that in our lives, that we suddenly realize that we're chasing the wrong things. That certainly is my story. Um, I, as a little boy, I wanted to be a superhero. I used to fantasize that I was Superman, but nobody knew it. Um, and as I got older, that translated into wanting to be an actor. Fame. I wanted fame. I wanted to be able to perform, which I loved. I was on the stage as a boy in Pensacola, Florida, Pensacola Little Theater. But I thought I could make it. People thought I was pretty good as an actor, and I I pursued that. Got up to my senior year in high school, and I starred in the senior play, and actually got an award for acting in that play. I'm very proud of that role. Someday I'll read you a scene from that play. It's a very touching play called Mr. Flannery's Ocean. Those of any of you that were in my senior class probably remember it. At any rate, I also had these religious feelings and felt I had to do something with them. And I knew that I couldn't do both. I couldn't pursue an acting career and eventually join a religious order. I'm not going to go into all the details of the story, but I will say this. Um, After I got out of high school, my life was one long search and one long battle. Looking at different religious orders, visiting them, sometimes spending time in them, but also occasionally acting in a show here and there and thinking I could make it. People told me again I was pretty good, and I had a big enough ego to want that. I loved the applause. I loved performing. I loved seeing the audience react up until a point. Um, I had spent 6 years in a Trappist monastery, believe it or not. And when I left, I really didn't know what to do with myself. Uh, and a series of circumstances caused me to end up in Billings, Montana. Well, I found out you don't get discovered in Billings, Montana. But I did begin acting again after I was selected by chance for a TV commercial. And it was a pretty successful commercial. It was humorous, um, 30 seconds long. But I also found out, oh, wow, this isn't as glamorous as I thought. Because the 30-second commercial, it took an hour and a half to make it. And I was rattled by the fact that I had to look at one camera for part of the time, another camera for part of the time. And it was an interesting experience. Nevertheless, the commercial ran for a whole month in January. It was for a winter white sale for a department store. And people thought it was funny because it was a humorous commercial. I played a humorous character. At any rate, I had also auditioned at Billings Studio Theater to play the friar in Romeo and Juliet. And the friar is a pretty juicy role. Um, I was okay in that role. I had really worked very, very hard on the opening speech when the friar first walks out on stage, and I was very proud of it. And I thought this is going to be my great moment in theater. Well, the first opening night, I walked out on stage, and I was carrying an herb basket, and I was going to say my perfect speech. But before I could open my mouth, the audience started laughing. And all I could think about, what's so funny? And this is what the audience saw. The guy from the commercial shows up as the friar in Romeo and Juliet. Well, now, Romeo and Juliet's supposed to be a tragedy, but every time I walked out on stage, they saw me as a comic figure after that. And I couldn't get my bearings. And all of a sudden, I thought, not only am I not famous, I'm not enjoying this as much. I don't know if I have enough passion to continue to pursue this. Furthermore, the other thing that happened is every night when I put on the uniform or the costume of the friar, I would think, this is really what I should be doing with my life. This is this is my real passion. And I eventually began to realize that if I were to possibly become a teaching brother, I could also work with young kids and also teenagers and teach them about drama. And that was much more attractive to me. All of a sudden, I didn't need to be famous. I didn't need to be well known. Of course, the paradox is that once you join a religious order, if you live in a small enough city, you're kind of a public person anyway. But that's a side thing. Most of all, I get my energy from teaching, from living community life, from prayer, and those are the things that mean the most to me in my vocation. Um, I don't think I will ever be famous. This is the closest I'll get being on YouTube. I may occasionally use this little channel to read a scene or something, but the motive is not to be suddenly discovered, and I'm too old for that anymore. Anyway, and the fact of the matter is, I just don't think that I would have the energy to seriously pursue an acting career. One of the things I found out as a friar is you can't ad lib in a Shakespearean play. It's iambic pentameter. And boy, oh boy, you forget a line, and it's hard to supply the right kind of line. Um, I have no memory left, or I have some memory, but it's very poor. And I don't think I can memorize lines anymore. I can still emote, I can still play a character, things like that. And I would probably enjoy doing a show once in a while if I didn't have to do the memorization. But most of all, what I want to do is I want to minister to young people as the friar intended to, but help their lives to turn out a lot better than that of Romeo and Juliet. And I think perhaps I have fulfilled the dream um, in a very circuitous way, the way God led me. Nevertheless, I think that the one thing the desire for fame taught me is that uh, it doesn't matter whether you're famous or not. What matters is, are you fulfilled? Are your dreams coming true? And is the real thing you want to do going to be the thing that makes you want to get up in the morning and continue to do it? So here I am now working in campus ministry, teaching a confirmation class, doing vocation work. Those things give me energy. And I hope now that I can, um, present myself without turning something into a comedy. I've been told I'm kind of funny anyway, but my intention is really to try to light a fire in other people's hearts and to teach them that what matters is not fame so much as being fulfilled. And I have no doubt that there are many actors who are fulfilled, and their joy isn't in being famous. It's in entertaining others, in making them laugh, in moving their hearts through drama, and by acting out a character who invites them to look into themselves. I think that's the real purpose of drama, and I'm glad I have that background because I think honestly it makes me a better brother. So for whatever it's worth, that's my story, and I will never be famous, but I know this much: I will always be brother. Thank you.